everybody, and welcome back to another episode of The Male Perspective. I am your host, Lana Reid, and today on this day, I have with me a gentleman by the name of Kenny Mulfort. He is an author, a producer of a plethora of stage plays, screenplays, and short stories. And I'm looking forward to hearing more about the creative work that he has put out into this world. But first and foremost, as I always do, I take a quick moment to pause. Say thank you to you for making time for me today. Time is a gift. Once we give it, we can't get it back. So I really appreciate you making time to sit down and talk with me today. And with that, sir, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate you reaching out and having me on this platform.
Awesome. Now, as I mentioned, you have written quite a few things in a dynamic area of things. And writing is a very peculiar beast. Mm-hmm. It keeps you up at night. So I'm wondering, how did you get involved in this whole journey of writing? How did that come about for you?
Yeah, so I went to University of Florida. There, I was actually an architect major, and I took a writing class. And one of the assignments was to write a 10-page script. This was back in like 2006. Write a 10-page script. And so one of the professors, after I was done, he loved it. And he was like, he wanted me to continue. Just to see how far I can go. Then it went up to like 35 pages, and then he asked me to go to 60 pages with it. So I ended up making it to 60 pages. And at the time, I was just trying to fill the pages up with words, but I was doing creative, using some creativity to it as well. And so after I was done, he kept raving about it, saying, "Hey, you probably should do some more writing." And I ended up actually changing major, not because of the writing, just more so because of physics too. So I changed to journalism. So I got into a lot of writing while I was in journalism, doing broadcasting and so forth. But that script that I wrote, I ended up going ahead and turning it into my first stage play. I did this at the University of Florida on the campus. So at the same time, I was looking for a lot of people who were trying to be in the same area. Meaning people who were interested in acting, writing, producing, whatever. Let's just get together and try to see what we could do. And so we got together and we did a play. I directed it, wrote it, and I had a few actors on campus. And so after that, I started doing other plays and so forth. And it's been going pretty well since.
Okay. What was the first play about?
First play was called Walk in My Shoes. And it was actually, everything I write about typically is based on certain things that's really happening or stories I've saw or heard. And this one was based about this kid. He was like maybe a couple of classes ahead of me, but and he went to FAMU. And so he was a womanizer and so forth. And then he met his match. And he fell in love with this lady, but this girl has she had an STD that made him realize, hey, you need to take it slow, right? So that was the whole story. But the emotional part of his side and her side coming together was what my professor really liked about it. The stage play did pretty well. It was called A Walk in My Shoes.
Oh, okay. Now let me backtrack a little bit, because I heard you mention at first you were majoring in architecture. Correct. And I also read that you are the proud son of Haitian immigrants, right?
Correct. Uh-huh.
So how did that go over to the switch from
So you must know Caribbean planners, yeah.
Yes.
Right. So when I was my mom, it's really pretty much my mom, but my mom was someone who supported me on anything I did, just as long as it was not illegal. So the fact that I was in college, that's all that mattered. If I told her I was majoring in how to draw a cartoon at the University of Florida, she would have been excited. You know what I mean?
Okay, awesome.
Just the mere fact I was at UF. But when I told her I was an architect, because that's what I went to. I got several scholarships and so forth to go to school for that. And then when I told her I was, you know what? I don't even remember telling her I'm not doing architect anymore. I just did it on my own. And so ever since then, she'll just ask me, "Oh, where am I working? What am I doing?" So I was a news director for a few years. I did that for a while. It was pretty cool. And then I moved to Atlanta, and then I got into the film business, meaning the entertainment. I started working on the set of The Blind Side, then The Walking Dead, Single Ladies.
Okay.
Yeah, so I ended up leaving the news business. And so while I was working on The Walking Dead, it was a really great experience. And then the production company ended up getting fired. So therefore I had to go back into the news business. And that's what brought me to Orlando. That's where I'm currently located.
Okay, Orlando.
Yeah. But yeah, so to answer your question, she was very supportive of anything I did.
Okay, yeah, I know quite a few Caribbean immigrant families, and it's, it's very pressing, to pursue education and do something better. We came here to work. So I was just wondering how that worked out to switch in. I could just see somebody journalism, writing. How you gonna make some money with that?
Exactly. That was that. If she had she known, she probably would have said something like that. But she just like, I think a lot of Haitian parents, well, specifically my mother in general, she probably assumed as long as I was in college, I was doing something.
Doing something awesome. Okay, I got you. Now, let me get back to writing. Now, there might be an inclination for people who are not really aware to say, oh, writing is writing. But because you do so many different kinds of writing, books, plays, and scripts, I'm wondering, in the course of your time in this thing called writing, what are some of the nuances that you can share with us of, like, what's the difference between writing a book versus writing a script versus writing a stage play?
So definitely, I think, well, so the difference in, and I was just talking to someone about that, to answer your question, the difference of writing a screenplay and a novel is kind of different. In a screenplay and stage play, you're writing to give direction to someone who will be performing that writing. So, and sometimes you can be it doesn't require imagery. Now, when you're writing a book, you're trying to put the emotions, the vision, the sound, everything within your words, which can be different. It could be more difficult. And that's why you often hear people say the book is better than the movie, because in the book, you're able to do so much more without any time frame, and no one else can mess up your words because it's your words. Whereas with the screenplay, someone can deliver a line that you didn't want it to be conveyed that way. So I did a lot of writing of stage play and screenplay. I challenged myself to write a novel. And so The Other Side of a Mirror was my first novel. And I probably will write another one day, but focus more right now on screenwriting. But yeah, I just wanted to challenge myself. And another thing to give to advice as far as writing a book. And again, when I say you have to be like, reach to all six senses within words. So how the person the taste, touch, sight, all of that. And so one of the things I tell people, like, always have your end in mind. Whether you're writing a book or if you're writing a screenplay, just know where you plan to end that screenplay or where you plan to end that novel. So it's almost like a GPS. So you can drive anywhere. If you don't know where you're going, you're gonna keep on riding for days. But if you put the exact address of where you're headed, it's gonna be easier to get there. So the same thing with writing.
So you write your endings first and then build on that?
Well, no, not to say I write it first. I just know what's gonna happen at the end. So before I do an outline and everything. I just know that by the end of this book, this line or this event will happen. And so now I just need to get to that event.
Okay, I got you. Well, so you brought it up. So let's go and start talking about your book, The Other Side of a Mirror. Now, Mr. Mulfort, Kenny, I'm gonna pull rank because I'm your elder. Kenny, I read the write-up on it. I think it was Amazon or whatever. And let me just say, it is psychologically creative. Let me just say that.
Yes.
So as I say that, please share the storyline with the audience so they know why I'm saying that.
Right. So I start off by being bold and say it's a psychological stimulating book. All right. So it's based on this woman struggling between the woman she is and the woman she wants to be. Now, I always tell people I'm not writing, and I write in a first person point of view of a woman, but I'm not claiming to be a person who knows women like this.
Okay.
I did a lot of research to write this book.
Okay.
All right. So, but yeah, the premise of the book is about a psychologist who is going through the motions of the world, and she gets a patient, a sex addict patient. And this woman is going through her trauma. And as the woman tells her about the stories that she's going through, the psychologist clings onto them and starts to be enamored by them.
Oh,
so she now wants to go to places that the sex addict says she wants to. She wants to dress like the sex addict. She wants her hair to be like her. She wants to walk, talk, and do everything like her. And so throughout the book, she's learning to become like the sex addict.
Wow. Yeah. Now, listening to you talk and reading the write-up on the book, I think for many people, the question is, what's going on in your brain that this stuff can come out? Like, how does this stuff happen?
Yeah, and then again, a lot of the stuff that I write is, I would say 50% of it is a real life situation, and the 50% is me adding on to it. A lot of it is, you'll see majority of my writing is, that's where it stems from. In this case, I had a frat brother of mine who his wife just up and left him out of nowhere. And she was a psychologist. So when I met up and left him, he woke up and he was calling her. She was nowhere to be found. It was a big search for her. No one knew where she was. About 2 years later, she returned, and she explained what happened to her. And what happened to her was that she had a patient or client, whatever you want to call it, based on your thoughts of the person. That person was believed to have thought that her husband was going to kill her. Her husband was, she had in her mind that her husband was out to kill her. Her husband had been beating her for so long. And so my frat brother's wife started to internalize that as her life.
Oh, okay.
So she could not tell the difference between her life anymore and the woman's life. And so therefore she believed that her husband was doing everything to her, beating her, trying to kill her.
Wow.
So she had to run away from him, escape from him.
Oh, wow.
And so then she realized later that, this was all a mind game. So a lot of therapists, psychologists, they have to see psychologists as well, countertransference type stuff. And so, that was the story. But I know at the time I started writing, I just started seeing what 50 Shades was doing, the numbers they were doing. So I said,
let me build this in.
Yeah, let me tie this in because, be honest, sex sells, and the story, but this story here, it has some sexual scenes in it, but the psychological side of it is also very well put together.
Oh, okay, awesome. I can see that. I can see that. So do you plan on like a part 2, or is this going to be a series, or
Yeah, so I definitely want this to be a part 2.
Okay.
I speak in existence. I speak everything in existence. So I don't say maybe or probably.
It will be.
It will be. So for example, now I tell everybody I'm going to film this book as a movie by 2024.
All right.
Yeah, exactly. And I already know who I want, all the cast, everybody, and so forth. So everything I'm doing right now, even including talking to you, is about making sure that movie happens. So again, even if I get one person to read the book, one more person to purchase the book or tell a friend, so make the book as big as big as I can, so that when the movie comes out, everybody's aware of what's happening.
Awesome. Now you mentioned you wanted to turn into a movie. It will turn into a movie. And that was kind of one of the questions I had in the back of my mind, because in the entertainment industry, a lot of times books do turn into movies.
Yep.
So in your mind, who would you envision in today's celebrity world playing some of the main characters in your book?
Oh, yeah, definitely. So there's a lady by the name of Melanie LeBird.
Okay.
You ever watch Power? All right. So on Power, she's the professor, the woman.
Okay.
So I would have her play my main character. Then the sex addict, I would have someone like Zoe Kravitz.
Okay.
So
Okay.
those two, because they're so, because in the book they're so different, yet they have some similarities, and so
Okay.
I believe those two together would really portray of what I'm looking for.
Awesome. Awesome. Now, I remember you mentioning that you had went to Atlanta for a little bit to do some work. So, and I know Atlanta's big in the film industry for
Okay.
entertainment, but is Florida has an entertainment industry in it
Yeah,
or no?
Florida does, but it's nowhere near what Atlanta or Hollywood or New York
Okay.
type of stuff. So you have your tiers like, of course, LA, New York, Atlanta. Then you
Okay.
have other sides like Chicago, maybe some parts of Houston,
Okay.
Orlando. But yeah, so one of the things when I moved to Atlanta to pursue that, but uh, I didn't find myself getting as much opportunities as I did when I moved back to Orlando. And what I mean by that, there's opportunity to work on sets and production all over Atlanta. That's never a problem. But
Okay.
when it comes to doing your own thing,
Okay.
it's kind of difficult to find people who will work with you, or you know, whether it be actors,
Okay. Okay.
cameramen,
Okay.
producers, directors, that type of stuff. So I found myself to have built a better team in Orlando.
Okay.
Right. And so when it comes to the movie business now, as you can see, you can live in the middle of Nebraska and become have your thing,
Just
out there,
pop off.
because right, because everything is so digital that you don't even need to be in that area. Now, if you're now I will say this, if you're an actor, it's a little different, because you
Okay.
need to be on those type of projects, your face needs to be seen.
Okay.
Whereas me as a producer, I can or a director, writer, I can have talent from Atlanta come down, from Miami come up, New York come down, and come to Orlando, and I film in Orlando.
Okay.
So that's the kind of thing that made me realize, and plus here's the thing, I love Atlanta. I love the opportunities Atlanta, I think, is by far the best in this country. I just don't like the city of Atlanta. So
Hmm.
I wanted to get it. I wanted to get out of there too. So
Yeah, it's very packed. It's oversaturated at this
it's
point, I believe.
oversaturated. And I'm from Miami, and I
Okay.
like I like palm trees. I like things to look very city. In Atlanta, people might not know, to me, Atlanta, if you once you go into the middle of Midtown, you go 20 miles north, south, west, east, whatever, you're in the country.
Yeah.
It's country after that.
Everything is country. And 20
Yeah.
minutes in Atlanta is an hour. It's almost like
Yeah.
LA, but
Yeah.
So what is your preference? Stage plays, screenplays? What do you
Oh,
have a preference for?
definitely teleplays, TV series. That's my
Okay.
first thing. So my first love would be TV series. Second would be a feature film, and then third would be stage play, and then last would be the novels, which I'm going to I want to continue to do all four, but my focus will always be TV series, TV plays,
Okay.
teleplays, and then work on a feature film. And when I say feature film, my mission is to, produce, direct, and write screen on TVs,
Okay.
TV series and episodes and so forth. But when it comes to like a movie, I just want to write it and then find someone else to do all the other work.
So I don't want to do
Yeah,
all of that.
I
I don't
don't
want
want
to
to.
do.
Yeah, so that's not my thing. I just want to be a writer of a screenplay for a feature film. But
Okay.
I don't want to have any producing, directing, or anything else with that. And in stage play, I would like to, write, of course, and do some directing with that.
Okay.
And novels, when I'm at when I'm at night when I'm in bed, I write a page, 3 page or whatnot, knock those out, and
Mhm.
that's just how that goes.
So the thoughts are just constantly going
Yeah.
around in there.
Yeah. So I zone in though. I lock into what I'm writing. So for example, if I'm writing episode for a series, that's what I'm focused on only. And so I tell
Okay.
myself, I time myself, so I put it from like 12 to 3. I'm writing that, you know. And then, I mean, I'm not working on several things right now. Like I'm not working on a feature film, nor am I working on a book. So only thing I'm really working on right now is a stage play and a teleplays. So yeah, from 12 to 3, I'm focused on that. Then I'll just do some other stuff. And then at night, maybe around like 8 to 11, I'm working on.
Okay.
Yeah.
You have to be disciplined. You have to be disciplined. Now you
Exactly.
mentioned you prefer to do TV scripts, right? And I
Right.
think I read on your website there was some samples of some ones that you had did, and it kind of made me think of a story that I have read. I want to say maybe 5 or 10 years ago about this lady who was saying that she was the one who created the Matrix and it was stolen from her, right? So
Yeah.
as I was reading your stuff, I'm wondering what safeguards are in place today for writers when you write your stuff and you turn it over to these companies, you know, that you retain the rights to it. How are you secure with that?
Well, the things are that the things that are when it comes into place, you can only really copyright your work with
Oh,
Writers Guild and the copyright.gov.
okay.
Those are things, but at the same time, it's still kind of tricky because there's certain things that people can still do to, you know, somewhat take your idea, but you can, if there's certain things you can also put in place for that. So I have I have attorneys as well. I have things.
Okay.
So also the things that's mostly the things that's on the website, they're they're not original, meaning like I have Insecure, I have other stuff. So these are spec
Okay.
scripts, almost like a part of my portfolio type of resume. So
Okay.
there's nothing really that's going to if someone were to steal it, you know, it would be Insecure, you know, it would be
Okay.
it would be those type of show that's already created. So yeah.
Okay. Okay. That's awesome. Yeah. I was like, we don't
Yeah.
want nobody stealing the man's work. So,
Right.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, you've got some other, like you're just doing everything and anything. So as I was going through and figuring out more about you today,
Yeah.
I found some web series that you did, and I found
Yeah.
two. There might be more, let me know, but I found
Yeah.
two. One of them is Drop.
Drop.
So
Yep.
what's the plot line behind that one?
So Drop, like I said, with everything else is based on a true story. I got into a Uber in Atlanta, and the guy, he asked me if I wanted to do some sort of drugs, and I'm like, no, I don't do drugs, you know. So he asked me, he said, hey man, I apologize. I didn't mean to come off that way, but the people, they have me selling it. So when he said they have me selling it, it kind of piqued my interest. Like, who's they and why do they have you selling it? So he explained how he picked up somebody and they left their bag in the car. And so then they left. And so when he looked in the bag, they had drugs and they had like almost $1,500 in cash. So he threw the drugs and bag away and he kept the money. Well, eventually they found him and
Mhm.
they asked for the money back and everything. He said he didn't have it. So they pretty much turned him into a drug mule. And so they turned him into a drug mule, and he was using Uber to do it. Yeah, so he found a way to utilize Uber to be a drug mule. And so he started making so much money. He started meeting so many people during this, and he got caught up in the life. And that's what Drop is about. And so, yeah, that's what I did it about.
Interesting. Right. So what I want to say? Are there more seasons of it, or is it's
Well, no, it was one season. I was gonna do more, uh, but the thing was, I had some of some of the actors they had to they left. It's, you know, and I was doing all of that by myself. When I say all
okay?
by myself, I was casting, writing, directing, filming, editing, and it just became too tiring. So I was trying to find more people to be part of the team.
Okay.
So and once I did end up finding these people, but then COVID came about,
Okay.
and like I said, people went different directions, meaning some people didn't want to act anymore.
Okay.
Some people moved to out of the state,
Okay.
and it just wouldn't, as far as continuity, it just wouldn't work. I
Okay.
would have to,
Gotcha.
I've been I've been thinking about how I even thought about how I could even do it with new actors, but it just wouldn't keep it the same storyline. So I just decided not to do it anymore.
Yeah, because nobody liked when Fresh Prince of Bel-Air got a
Yeah.
new Aunt Viv. So, you can't do that.
Exactly.
You can't do
Right.
that. So when you're writing your stuff, do you only write and behind the cameras, or do you ever act in some of your stuff?
Oh no, I never want to act. I don't like acting at
Never?
all. No. Uh, Acting is not something I care to do. I never was interested in acting. The most I would ever do is play a stand-in, or if I need to be a bartender, or something like that. I did that once because the guy that we had to play the bartender didn't show up, so I just ended up playing the bartender.
Okay.
But yeah, other than that, I
No
don't
acting.
no acting.
Okay.
Yeah.
All righty. So you got another web series out, and we're going to keep it kid friendly. So I'm just going to
Yeah.
say the initials of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
BDSW. Even though I can't say what that stands for,
Yeah.
it's very interesting. So
Right.
what is the storyline behind that one?
So BDSW, there was a show back in 2009 that ran to 2011 called Hung. That was on HBO. So I did some connection with them. And I didn't get on the show itself, but it was close enough where I wrote an episode. The season, the series ended up getting canceled.
Okay.
So the name of my episode for that series was BDSW. And so I had it for a long time. Then I went to the American Black Film Festival a couple of months ago.
Okay.
One of the things that I got from there a while, I'm not sure if it was Issa Rae speaking, or it might have been Yahya Mateen. Yahya Mateen and the light skin, Michael Ealy. So they talked about how if you have scripts already from whenever, why don't you just film it? Go ahead and film it. So yes, what I did was I went in my list of all the scripts that I have that I've been writing since 2010, and I decided to pick one and film it.
Okay.
And it was also for me to practice on my directorial skills too.
Okay.
So what I did was I filmed that one, and the premise of that one is about it's actually going to be thought provoking and very interesting for a lot of men. So it also addresses, it goes to women too, but mostly men. Like sometimes we can get in the way of opportunities, whether it be personal, relationship, or business opportunities, because of the people we decide to mess with. Right. So I give you an example. Like I said, everything happened in real life. I had a friend of mine who was dating this girl, and or if you want to call it dating, just they were messing around, and he kept, she was falling in love with him, of course, and
situationship.
Yeah, situationship, right. And so he kind of what most people would say, dogged her out, and what that means is just ignore her, pretty much. Blocked her, don't want to do nothing. Well, it turns out that one of the people that he was going to do business with, that was her brother. And so, it was a very tricky situation, so that's why I say sometimes you can have a BD, and then you end up being a small world, So you like it, and so in this case here, in this scenario, in this show here, my character, he's down on his luck. He doesn't have much, and he quits med school because he believes that's how much he believes in his writing, and he just needs the opportunity. Well, he ends up meeting this woman who actually rejected his manuscript. She ends up sleeping with him, not knowing, and then once she finds out what he's carrying, what he's packing, she decides to help him along the way. So that's what happens, and so he's gonna end up finding out just how small the world is when he messes with, like when he deals with one person.
Okay, okay, all
Yeah.
righty. I see some inkling of your fraternity kind of
Yeah. There you
creeping
go.
out in there, you
Listen, I have
know.
a lot of fraternity brothers and a lot of friends, so I got a lot of stories to
A
tell.
lot of stories, a lot of stories. So this one we taped just one episode or two
Yeah,
episodes?
I did one episode just to see what the feedback would be like, and so then I will return back to production in October, and by Thanksgiving time we'll be releasing some of those episodes.
Okay, okay. So right now they're available because I think I saw the one on YouTube, right?
Correct. So Drop is on YouTube, and BDSW also, the pilot itself is on YouTube.
Okay. So what's the process to getting these web series on like your streaming services and stuff like that?
Right. So there's a bunch of streaming services at this point now. So uh with that being said, it's about getting like a creative agent, a literary agent, finding reaching out to certain individuals, like even with Issa Rae, she has her own YouTube channel.
Okay.
Several people have their platform. And then also you can build an audience and let them come to you. So
Okay.
that, so like you, again, I take Issa Rae as an example. She made awkward black girls so popular that
Yeah.
they came to her.
Awesome.
So, and if you watch, and the same thing with social media people, they're so popular on social media that companies come to them to, hey, we want to work with you. So
Oh,
that's what it is about too. If I get in this series so popular that it's easy to approach somebody with it because we have the numbers.
okay, gotcha,
Yeah.
gotcha. Now, as a writer and a producer of web series and stuff like that, what is the most frustrating thing to you when it comes to working with actors and actresses? What?
Well, that's why I said, Orlando was a place for me to be, because it was much easier. I had a tight knit group, and these individuals are people I talk to every day.
Oh, okay.
So it was much easier to do it that way. But one of the things I found to be hard working with some actors, like some people like to think they're better than what they are. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So you have a lot of people who think who have wine taste but beer skills.
Uh-huh. They
Um,
already think they're Denzel, right?
right,
I'm
exactly.
Denzel. What
And
you talking about?
I'm not here to, and I'm never going to be the one to argue with you and say you're not. I'm going to let you be and find someone that's
Mm,
born within my
good tip. Okay,
my
good.
my my realm. And so
Okay.
um so yeah, that's one of the things I find just frustrating. And the other part is actually relying on someone, and this happened quite a bit on this last series I did, twice actually. um when you have someone who said they're interested, and it's the day of, they just don't show up. you know and so I'm all about right now, there's a lot of people who are interested in getting into the business. It's as well as I am. I'm still a novice.
Oh,
And
okay.
so therefore, I'm looking to work with people who are trying to get in there, who's
Oh,
looking to
okay.
get in there. So it's not always about your skills, it's more so about your passion,
Okay, gotcha, gotcha,
and
gotcha.
how hard you want it to, how hard you want to do it.
Oh,
And
okay.
so I work with those kind of people. And so I found a good group of people. So I used to watch movies like School Days. I watch all
Hmm.
these movies like from directors like Spike Lee, uh, the Wayans brothers, Adam Sandler, and I always wonder, why do they use the same people in every movie? You
Yeah,
know, and
they're
that's the reason why
reliable. They're
they're
reliable
reliable.
and they produce the work that they need. Yeah.
Exactly.
And you mentioned that, the person didn't show up. I'm wondering when you're doing your bookings or you're setting up for taping, are there things like you have to book space or whatever? How does that mess you up when somebody just doesn't show up
Oh
or
yeah, so totally messes me up. But what I end up
oh,
doing, based on some of the location, if I'm able to, I work with, like, let's say for example, in one location the lady didn't show up. It was a studio, so
oh,
we ended up just everybody was dressed. Some of the girls had their makeup, so we ended up just doing a
okay.
photo shoot. Um,
Okay.
so we did something out of it,
Yeah,
or
amazing. Okay.
we did some certain things for social media content.
Okay, I got you.
So
I
we
got
do
you.
like funny
You made the
stuff.
best of it. Okay.
Yeah, that kind of stuff. So and then the second time, we utilize a mansion out in here in Orlando. The woman who owned the house, we just started talking to her, and I just started, taking footage of her home.
Okay.
And I send it to her, So
Okay.
like those are situations where I made something out of
We
nothing,
got to
but
improvise.
yeah, because I'm not gonna something we gotta do something with the camera is what I'm saying.
Yeah, because
But
I'm thinking you got cost involved in all of that
yeah,
stuff, right?
exactly. And then but the first thing I also do is try to see if I can reach out to someone who would be able to make it.
Okay.
So if no one is able to make it, then we have that problem. In both scenarios though, we were against the time of daylight, so therefore we had to, pretty much call it a quit and just do the social media stuff.
Awesome. Awesome. Just so talented. I love to see talented brothers. Awesome. 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 All
Yeah.
righty, sir. Well, we're going to do the random question, and then I'm going to ask you to tell us how we connect with you and pick up the book and or check out your series and stay in touch, because I'm expecting some big things. I'll be able to look up in a year and say, I remember when I interviewed him. I wonder if he's gonna remember me. So
yes, I will remember this. I actually appreciate that, and I appreciate what you're doing. I hope you keep on doing it. I don't know how you found me, but whatever it was
a hashtag on Instagram. I'm good for using hashtags. I can't remember which one, but let me ask a random question, and I'll and tell mama she did good. She might have not got her architect, but she did good. She did good.
I'll let her know.
All right, let's see here. What is your least favorite food?
My least favorite food, it would have to be, man, I'm a foodie, but I don't like raw sushi. I don't like it, yeah. And I don't like anything that's supposed to be cold turn hot, and anything that's supposed to be hot turn cold. What does that mean? I don't like my wife, she would cook pineapples, and she would, put brown sugar in it, and it's hot.
Yes.
I don't like to eat stuff like that because pineapple is supposed to be cold, right?
So that like she's got family from North Carolina. So no upside down pineapple cake or anything.
She makes it. That's my favorite, but I just have to take the pineapple off.
That's the
I tell you, if it's hot, just like pizza, like pineapple on pizza, it just doesn't work for me.
Oh, I don't.
And like there's this, what's the thing? Tuna tartare.
No,
I can't do that because I'm not going to eat cold fish.
So. I can't do that.
So there you go.
All right. Alrighty, dear. Tell us how we connect with you, pick up the book, and check out the web series and and just everything. Just tell us how we connect.
So you can catch me on Instagram at CK Mulfort, which is spelled M as in Mary, ULF as in Frank, ORT. That's so CK Mulfort. That's on Instagram. And then my website is also www.ckmulfort.com. Whether you go to my website or my Instagram, you will catch a link to my book, which is on Amazon. And if you just want to go straight to Amazon, you can search The Other Side of a Mirror, The Other Side of a Mirror, and you'll see that book. It's written by CK Mulfort. Oh, so I made it easy for everybody. So CK Mulfort is where you catch me on anything. Okay. Yeah.
Awesome. So I forgot to ask, and I think the book came out during the COVID time. You did any book signings or anything like that? Or
I haven't done any book signings, but I've been approached by a couple of people to do that. So one of the things that I'm very creative, but when it comes to certain things like business of marketing and stuff, it's a very hard task for me. So the same way how people could look at it and be like, how can you write a book? How can you film this? How can you create a board game? It's the same way
I didn't get to talk about the board game.
Yeah. I created a board game. Oh yeah, everybody, the board game is right as well as on Amazon. But yeah, so it's very difficult sometimes
to market.
Marketing, which I'm learning to lean on other people for that right now. So
yeah, you're good at what you do, and you have to find people around you as part of the team that are good at what they do. So it's all a process and a learning journey, but it'll all come together. It's just too talented not to come together. So
thank you so much. I appreciate
but
that.
keep on doing what you're doing. I expect to hear big things from you. I'm so talented. I just love to run into talented brothers. So to me. And
Right.
Congratulations from me.
Thank you so
Okay.
much. Thank you so much. And thank you again for having me.
Awesome. Awesome. That is all for this week's episode of The Male Perspective. I'm your host, Lana Reid, and I will see everybody next time.